Well, good morning, and welcome back to the Journey to Jerusalem on this Thursday of the first week of Lent. We were made for God. You were made for God. I was made for God. You and I are on this journey with Jesus because we were made by God for God. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2566, we read, and I quote, "Man is in search for God. Even after losing through his sin his likeness to God, man remains an image of his Creator and retains the desire for the one who calls him into existence." End quote. We were made for God, and we desire God because when He made us, He planted that desire for Him in us. However, as much as you and I desire God, God desires us more than we desire Him. In the very next paragraph in the Catechism, number 2567, we read, and I quote, "God calls man first. Man may forget his Creator or hide far from His face. He may run after idols or accuse God of having abandoned Him. Yet the living and true God tirelessly calls each person to that mysterious encounter known as prayer. In prayer, God's initiative of love always comes first. Our own first step is always a response." End quote. God desires us. Yeah, you and I might want Him, but God longs for us. He yearns for us. Thus, God calls. God tirelessly calls. He never gets tired of reaching out to us. Never. Matthew, the apostle, encountered that wisdom of the Catechism long before it was written. As a tax collector and a sinner, Matthew was living with flat tires, you might say, to use the image that we used last week. Matthew was living with flat tires and was, you might say, looking for love in all the wrong places. No doubt that Matthew, quote-unquote, forgot his Creator. No doubt that Matthew, quote-unquote, hid far from God's face or, quote, ran after idols, just like the Catechism says, and our patterns. Matthew may have even, quote, accused God of having abandoned him. Yet Jesus reaches out to Matthew. Matthew chapter 9, verse 9. We read, "Jesus saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs post, and He said to him, 'Follow me.'" I often act like Matthew, or I certainly see my life defined in a catechism in number 2567. I want to read it again. I want you to listen to see if your life is somehow described in this catechism quote. "Man may forget his Creator or hide far from His face. He may run after idols or accuse God of having abandoned Him." Like I do that. I forget God. I hide from God. I run after idols, and then I accuse God of having abandoned me. Now here's the truth about love. All week long we've been talking about love. Here's the truth about love. Here's the truth about Jesus. Here's the truth about the person that we're on the journey with. He tirelessly calls each person to that mysterious encounter known as prayer. Tirelessly, never gets tired. Always reaching out, never abandons His desire for you. And last week, we talked about being on the journey with Him. Just yesterday, we talked about eyes, how He looks at us through His eyes. Well, because of the eyes which we see ourselves, It's easy to believe that God would eventually give up on us. 1 Corinthians says that love never fails, and that's true. God will never fail in reaching out to you. God will never tire of calling you. It's his favorite thing to do. Today's Thursday, the first week of Lent. That means we've been on the journey now for 8 days. And maybe Lent has met your expectations. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe you're doing great with your Lenten penance. Maybe not. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on God. God hasn't given up on you. And he's tirelessly calling you today to encounter him. Today I want to encourage you to pray with Matthew chapter 9, verses 9 to 13. And you're Matthew. Be in this scene. Like, close your eyes, visualize it all. You're Matthew. You're at the customs post. Jesus comes to you. Jesus looks at you. And Jesus says to you, hey, follow me. And pray this prayer with me. Jesus, I want to grow my relationship with you. I desire to know you personally and how you love me in a very particular way. God bless you.